The Mushroom War. Not much is known about it aside from it being the war that set off an atomic bombs that wiped out most of the human race, and through the ambers of this broken civilization created the lich, a being with a singular goal of wiping out all life, just as the atomic bombs in which this being of cows arose from once did, but on an even greater scale. But on his conquest of cows he came to blows with the great hero Billy, who beat him and encased the lich in a prison of amber and something that looks like syrup inside a big tree. And this is where we first see the lich in the show, when Princess Bubblegum showed both of them the lich for the first time after she gave them some gems to shield their minds from the lich's mind control. And lich got out of the prison of amber, and Syrup is a snail who was shown every episode up to this one somewhere waving goodbye, and to quote Humpty Dumpty from Puss in Boots, he was always there. So it turns out that the snail gets possessed by the lich and he gets in the tree while Princess Bubblegum, Finn and Jake are in the tree, and the snail frees the lich, breaking the syrup casing and frees him from being in and part of the tree that sealed him off. So Finn and Jake goes after the lich, but before they go, Princess Bubblegum gives Finn a sweater and tell Finn that she cares about him. So in their fight against the lich, Finn's gem break, making him susceptible to the lich's mind control. So the lich gets into Finn's head and asks him, "Aren't you cold, Finn?" But because of the sweater, Finn manages to not succumb to the lich's mind control, and he beats the lich for now until the next time they meet. But then the Ice King shows up with Princess Bubblegum and drops her in this evil goo that the lich was concocting, which gets her possessed by the lich. And possessed PB was making some concoction and acting obviously pretty weird because she is posed, but no one but Jake was suspicious, and Finn was just bringing possessed PB everything she asked him to bring, and she was making some potion. And because of Jake making Finn look at what possessed PB was doing, they finally go to stop her, but then Ice King comes and freezes her and she gets broken into pieces. So she gets sent to the medics and they manage to bring her back as a 13-year-old, but knowing what we know now, I guess she just looks 13 just like she looked 18 before. Also, PB looking like that doesn't really last that long. She gets into some hijinks with Finn and she turns herself back into looking 18. So the next time we see the lich is when he's possessing a snail and he mind controlled the bear to get the Insuridian from Finn and Jake by gaining their trust. So the next time we see the lich, he is posing Billy, the hero that sealed the lich in the first place. Billy, after becoming the strongest hero in his youth, started noticing a pattern where how many evil monsters he's slain, there's always a bigger and badder monster to take its place. So noticing this, Billy became depressed and stopped adventuring. So because of this, his wife left him. Then we see him getting possessed by the lich in Finn's dream, where he was partying with Billy, and the lich shows up and using the power of the Insuridian he possesses Billy, and Finn realizes that his dream really happened because the cosmic owl was there, and if the cosmic owl is there, it means that the dream will happen in real life. So Finn goes to warn Billy, and Billy tells Finn to help him gather the stones on every princess's and the Ice King's crown, and since it's Billy, Finn's hero, he helps him do it without question. But that becomes Finn's biggest mistake when he finds out that Billy was possessed by the lich this entire time. He finds this out after he put the gems in the Insuridian, so Finn destroys the Insuridian, but that's what the lich was planning on him doing, because doing that opens a portal to the time room, and here's where the timeline split in three, where they find Prismo the Wishmaster. So the lich wishes for the discussion of all life, where we see this timeline in the Fiona and Cake episode. Jerry were the only ones alive is Bimo, who after losing everyone after living in this wasteland for years, he became delusional to cope with everything that happened, but still he had a hero heart, so he sacrificed himself to send Fiona, Cake and Simon to their own timeline. But before he does this, after all of them go on a gurney to find the only other person left, who's the lich, going by Jerry. Now after he destroyed all life, he is now thinking about what next is there, if there is anything to gain. So when Simon used Bimo's and the lich's power to contact Golbetti, he rose to the opportunity that his life could be more if he claimed to be a wazzle of Golbetti, saying he did all this for him rather than to fuel his own insatiable thirst for destination. But Golbetti sees through his lies and kills him. That's my take on what happened there. I think it's better than the simp narrative most people I see on YouTube going with anyway, but much like Kid Icarus, he flew too close to the sun when he tried to gain Golb's grace of being way beyond even his understanding. Ironic, because he called himself a scholar of Golb, but seemingly trying to please Golbetti became his undoing. And that's the end of the lich from that timeline. Remember, there's two other timelines I mentioned. One of them is Finn Wish, where he wished that the lich never existed. The next video I'll make is going to be about that. So let's talk about Jake's wish, where he wished that the lich wished that Finn and Jake goes back to the land of Oo. So when Jake goes back to party at Prismo's place, the lich is just sitting there, and Prismo tells that the lich is stuck in a standstill like a machine without a purpose. He finds something to do when Prismo asks Finn and Jake to bring the old man who Prismo is a dream of and wake him up so they can get arrested and go to the galactic prison where Finn's dad is. But then the lich gets activated after he finally thinks of a plan to cause mass genocide, so he and kills the old man, and he gets into the prison so he can corrupt the prison with his powers and free every criminal there. And he tells Finn that his plan is to command an army and sail to 1 billion worlds, and that he will sail until every light is established, that he is beyond strength, that he is the end. And when the lich does his signature attack fall on Finn, he luckily falls on the blood of a Citadel Guardian who died in the prison break. But when Finn touches the lich smeared with this blood, something unexpected happens. The lich reverts back into an innocent child or something. Later on we see he still has some of the lich's power, but he becomes a kind kid after this, which is still to this day the biggest what the bing bong ping pong moments in Adventure Time. Next video's gonna be about Farm World, and that story finna be wild. Y'all will be like what the King Kong zing zong when I talk about that story. So like, comment, share and subscribe to see that when it comes out.